Eddie Van Halen here, telling you, keep playing, man. Gotta keep playing. It's the only thing there is. Music, man. Keep playing. All right? I'm gonna come looking for you if you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta keep playing.
Welcome
Got to keep playing.
Welcome
Except for tonight.
Right, yeah. Jimmy might, I'm not. Welcome to the Tuesday, May 20th episode of the Guitarsenal, featuring the Mod Squad here, plus John.
Plus me.
Good. You've modded some things.
I have, yes.
Unlike Jimmy and I that mod everything. So yeah, our topic of discussion tonight is guitar mods. Where do you start? Where do you stop? Why? So with that being said,
a robust subject.
yeah, and it's, you know, it's all personal preference and everybody's got different opinions. Some are wrong, some are, I'm just kidding.
Fucking right out of the gate, eh? Look at this guy.
Yeah, he could hang out with Theo Vaughn earlier.
Fucking guy.
So, since you're already highlighting chats, let's just say a big hello and thank you to all of our awesome channel members. The list keeps growing. And if you're not a channel member and you want to be a channel member, click the join button. And if you don't want to be a channel member, well, just keep hanging around. But all these people on this list help keep the wheels rolling around here. So we appreciate you, just like we appreciate everybody.
This is true. Let's see who's in the chat.
Especially everybody that wants to hang out and watch this circus.
Exactly. Look at this. He's here in spirit. He may pop in a bit. He's busy tonight.
He probably put that up like 5 hours ago. But
probably. Yeah, I would think so. 10 hours, it says.
There you go. What's up, Dan Gorman?
Dan.
Another prodigal.
Dan Gorman got his welcome thing tenfold on Sunday.
It was an extravaganza.
To make up for this evening.
What's Al saying? Change Floyd Rose style trim to either go or show Floyd Rose change. Whatever. Goodbye. Yes. Holy Christ, man. Just jump on if you got all this. We love you, Al. Earl is here.
You sitting in the truck earlier crying.
About the moisture content here.
So,
complaining either way. It's either dusty queef or shit rain.
Right. Mm-hmm. Saw Earl over on Leon Todd's, was that Sunday night?
Yeah, he had a live there, I saw.
Yeah. Scotty was in there. Scotty said hello.
Oh, good to see him. I haven't heard from him from
He's had some things going on.
As life tends to do to all of us.
What's up, Wayne?
Wayne McConnell. How you doing, brother? Chuck C.
What's up, Chuck?
Starboard.
What's up, Darren?
Darren.
Cucumber. CMBR. Nice submission on Sunday.
Hey, for sure. Send more.
Absolutely.
What's up, Steve? Stu?
Stu? Steve.
It's Stu. I need glasses.
I've got these big fucking goggles, but they're progressives because I'm old, so I got to go like this to see the. Oh, that's clear, but down here it's still a little blurry.
Right.
Steve Franklin. Big channel supporter.
What's up? This dickhead. What's up, dickhead?
Jimmy's my friend.
Wow.
Good to see you, brother.
Dave. Did Theo Vaughn choke you out like he did that dude in Nashville the other day? Been cool. You got that on video. What's up, Sova?
Sova is here. Monkey Guitars is here. Did we say hello to Kush?
Jeff Holmes.
What's up, Kush?
Kush.
Got Martian Murray.
Eminem.
Eminem, yo.
Hillary.
Hey,
I don't understand
Hillary.
how you can show up every show and still have a new one running around.
Because she's being a good parent by subjecting the new one to the circus. Right.
Slayer.
She probably played Slayer to her in the womb.
There we go. Jay Guitar. How you doing? Is that a
going
new
on?
name
What's up,
here?
Jade?
Is that new?
Maybe.
Yeah,
If you're new,
John.
say you're new.
That's right. That was a natural modification.
He can't say anything.
I wasn't going to go at him. I've seen his.
I will.
Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, just keep it up in there, chemo.
Chemo slice.
There he is. The one, the only, the Blue Mox. How you
The
doing?
blue.
The blue.
Oh, sugar pants, sugar
Tush.
tush. Kurt, we have something here to the.
We do. I'll get it
Coy.
somewheres. Where's it at? Where did it go?
I didn't see it.
Uh-oh. I don't know where it went.
Show's over.
Son of you're my boy, Blue. Kurt.
Exactly. We've got Rene Fernandez.
What's up, dude?
Oh,
Nice to see ya.
greetings.
Brother Rob.
Robbie. 21 months of membership.
Doesn't he get a?
I don't have the thing,
No,
but
I think the better is. That's good.
Robbie pops in with 21 months of channel membership like,
Hello, baby. Now we're talking. Who else we got here? Brother Zach, how are you?
yo, Zach.
We did say Kurt.
R2 can't make it tonight. His uncle's neighbor has a clogged toilet.
It's usually a little more dramatic, though, like death or.
His uncle's neighbor's grandma died on the clogged toilet.
Exactly. That's a little more like it.
His uncle's cousin's former nephew.
Yo, no man's land.
How you doing, brother?
No.
If you're saying the three of us are slow, we know.
Yeah. That's it?
Let's see. Hillary said that,
Yeah, go ahead, man.
where'd it go? She'd say the little one prefers Lamb of God to Slayer for now. She'll get there. She'll get there.
Yeah. Work your way up to Slayer. Starboard saying here, it's not a mod, but it could surely change right here. Do you have new headphones, Randy? And if so,
That's a
they
lot
worth
of.
it?
It's like three
actually,
people
hang on
now.
a second. If it was Blue Mox asking this, he says, is it worth it, Randy? And how much did they cost?
$4.99. Yes, I do have new headphones. For those that have been asking, I think 40 Grit mentioned it Sunday or Thursday or something. Yeah, I did get new headphones. These are the Sennheiser HD 490 Pros. They're open back, so you got to kind of, when somebody else is talking or playing or whatever, or Quentin shows up, then you got to pull back because the mic will pick them up. So, but
How do they sound compared to closebacks?
more open. No, they sound really
Perfect.
good. I was rocking the Audio Technica, the MT50Xs. I've had 2 pair of them, but something always happens and they blow up. So, and they sound really good. They've just got a very enhanced low end, and that's the Sennheiser,
Yeah.
Temu Sennheisers. For me, I like to dial in a decent amount of low end in my guitar sound for the most part, and it just muddies up the stuff in those.
And you
audio.
like them loud too, like the rest of
Yeah,
us.
and I crank them. It's not fun if you can't feel it to an extent.
Yep.
So I crank them, and it just blows the bottom end out of the speakers, and then they get crackly and shit. But so I wanted to try something different, and so far I like these. They're not flat per se. They're pretty flat, but they have an emphasis in the mids. So you kind of get to hear the whole spectrum of things, and that you wouldn't if you've got a more low-endy headphone. So, but yeah, so far so good.
Excellent. Jimmy's still rocking the Rhodes.
Yep.
I tried those first and hated them.
Speaking of modification, what was the first thing you did with those, Jimmy?
These ones, took the 1/4-inch little baffle pad out of them.
It's the first thing I did before I ever put them on.
So this is a new pair because my other pair, you saw the wires probably hanging out of the one side because these things aren't very robust in the build quality. You cannot grab them by the cans.
No.
You got to make sure you grab them by the headband, or the little adjustment pieces just shatter into no end. That's why I had all the tape and shit on them.
Right.
So,
What's up, Mean Joe McGraw?
what's up, Joe?
Yeah,
Guitar Man
there's
45 too.
Yeah, there's a ton of reviews on YouTube here about those Rode headphones, about how easy they break.
Yeah.
So, Renee, Master Jimmy, it's a carving axe that you have today. He's got one.
I do have a Carvin that we'll talk about what happened later.
Oh boy.
But no, I'm not holding a Carvin.
What's up, Ken?
What's up, Bo? Ken.
Sins will last. Yeah, that is one thing. They're really light. So, and they encompass your entire fucking ear. Whereas the if you've got big ears like I do, big Dumbo ears, those Rode headphones were a little too small, and after like 30 minutes, they were pretty uncomfortable. But these things are super light, super comfortable.
I found what. Go ahead.
You kind of forget you even got them on.
Yeah, I found that with because I had the MT40, whatever they were.
Right.
But same thing. Once I went over to the Bear Dynamics, same thing. Is like you just forget that they're there.
Right. What's up,
It
Bo?
actually fits your head.
Since everybody else has said, hey, and I have not. Blue Mark says he's had the Sin 599s for about a year, 0 issues. Nice.
I don't know.
They make good stuff, man. Sennheiser. You see what Earl's saying there?
I'm not that far down.
Okay.
There we are. Question. Are you guys still using Rodecaster system? I mentioned to Andy Wood that he may want to check out how you guys are using it for your channel. Yeah, every one of us is.
Yep.
Rodecaster Pro 2.
Yeah.
I'd like to get Andy Wood on here.
Canton Rd 55. How are you, homie?
I need to message him.
I messaged him a while ago. I haven't heard from him.
You know, I'm surprised
That yes,
the amount
Joe.
of people that do live streaming. You know, they'll play guitar by themselves, but when it comes to doing this, it's just like
Shit show.
they have it's just like no clue. And it's like it's like, okay, Rodecaster, what's that? It's like I would have thought that would have been like a well-known thing by now.
Yeah, it's deep into its life cycle, that's for sure.
Yes, officially, Carvin is now Kiesel, but you can still get the Carvin name on the headstock rather than Kiesel.
You just got to do like Bo does and call Jeff Kiesel's daddy.
Yep.
Order your shit. So, yeah.
Of course they are, all day, all night.
Larger than ATs.
Audio Technicas.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
In a
But I
good
prefer-
way.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Those are the Audio Technicas. They're good, but like you said, they definitely have a pronounced low end, EQ to them.
I mean, if you want to compare apples to oranges, pay attention, Blue Mox. The Audio Technicas that I were using, they were $150, and these are $399.
Yep. Exactly. That's one of like we were talking before. This is one of those things where you kind of get what you pay for.
Right.
As long as you do your proper research. Because I'm sure there's fucking hip hop headphones that you can get that are way expensive and garbage.
Yeah. Sova says, I'm looking for some headphones or earbuds for my big truck, that noisy motherfucker. So you cats recommend Sennheiser. I like Sennheiser. I've always liked Sennheiser.
Yeah, they're solid. Always have been.
If you're gonna go, if you're looking for something that like noise canceling, I have good luck with the Jabra Elite E75s, which in fact are these. And they last on a charge, about 10 hours, and have the noise canceling and hear through option.
He's driving a big fucking truck. You think he wants to be totally silent?
Some Dave dude says, I still use the old Sony Teal Professionals, replaced ear pads twice, still going. If they were lighter, I wouldn't complain. I looked at some Sony stuff, but it was pretty much down to these or the HD 650s. And I think they have a closed back version of the 650 as the 600. And the 600s were out of stock at the places I looked. And I love Reddit. Always end up on Reddit for things. And a lot of people on this, the studio headphone subreddit were comparing the HD 650s to these, and these seem to have gotten more overall favor, and likes in favor of, versus spending the extra $100 or so on the 650s. So,
well, just like Jimmy says too, once you get to a certain price point, it's law of diminishing returns, right?
Right. Joe McGraw says, I would never have known about the Rodecaster if it wasn't for you guys, but I'm just a guitar tech these days. You hear that, Rode?
You bastards.
Rode mics at Rode mics. Blue says he flattens the curve out of his headphones, pink noise, and use your phone as a cheap spectrum analyzer. It's not perfect, but very good and basically free.
Right.
Well, headphone companies could give you a graph to tell you the EQ curve of the headphones. That would
Right.
greatly help in picking a pair instead of, well, I went through 8 pairs and they still suck.
Right. And that's one thing about these. The ear pads are different. It comes with a different set of ear pads, and one of them is for mixing, and the other is whatever. The second pair that comes with these is specifically for mixing. I think they have a little less low end and a little more top end.
Yeah, these are the same thing. They have like a cushiony kind of one, which I'm wearing now, and they're supposed to be like a cross between open back and a closed back, and then I've got the ones that fucking
Yeah. I think the ones that come on these are supposed to simulate more of a closed back sound versus the open. So. Oh, Dave talking to Kurt. Stephen Franklin wants to know where the fearless leader is. I don't know. He may pop in a little bit.
Yeah, he said he'd pop in maybe.
Daniel Berry Sports Highlights in the house. What's up? Blue says Amazon puts the 5.99s on sale periodically for under $100. Good to know. Yep, Tony McAlpine did play Carvins before he went to Ibanez. Quentin James in the house. Is that like the Kiss versions or?
Yeah, Quentin's pretty much older than the oldest of us, so some of his
Right.
references are.
Who's older, Quentin or Trev?
Oh, Quentin.
Oh yeah, got boner jams in the house. Put 25,000 on Nibbler rocking a Parillent Vidre skull cap, 11-inch dong, soft, and perpetual sexiness parlay. I won. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Plus the third ball. What the fuck? There's no competition.
Glad I could help.
Yeah.
And got Kurt down here promoting your OF page.
Mm-hmm.
You auction off the used caps.
Yep.
They're Temu knockoffs, just to let you know, because he bought Spencer's out of stock on them when they were closing, so he's not giving up the OGs. Arky's here. What's up, Arky?
Hey, Arky.
Bo Carvin, is that like a guitar or something? You got like 47 of them and 3 more on order.
It's a bus.
Cool. All right, so let's get on to the subject at hand tonight. Guitar mods. Do you
Take it
mod,
away, Jimmy.
do you mod your guitars? Do you leave them stock? Why or why not?
And when is it enough?
Yeah, when is it enough? Well, since Jimmy and I are the mod squad around here, because I don't have anything that's stock. You know, if they made a guitar to everything I wanted in it, I wouldn't fuck with it. But they don't, so that's why I'm going to start venturing into just building my own. Well, buying bodies and necks and parts and putting them how I want them. But, you know, I ain't building no bodies and necks. I ain't got the materials or the tools or the patience or the know-how. So, mine, you know, it's usually pickup swaps or a different pickup configuration. Nothing really super crazy. You know, I've finally started experimenting with different color plastics and pickup bobbins and stuff like that. But, you know, that's really it when it comes to my modifications. I'm actually working on the biggest modification project I've decided to tackle ever. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I've done the pickups in both SIRs to the SIR pickups, and that's just to get. It's more for getting somewhat consistent levels here. And my other guitar, the parts one there, I've done a lot to that actually. Pickups, it had P90s in it and a 6-point trem. So when I say I modded it, that means Steve Brand modded it.
Right.
So I routed it for Floyd, put that in. The pickups needed routing because they were P90s and didn't fit humbuckers. And then I swapped out the neck for a Warmoth neck, which is too damn small. And I'm basically waiting till prices stabilize a bit, and I'll replace it again with one of those boat necks or something like that. Then it should be good.
You don't want to spend a bunch of money like I just did on a neck?
Yeah, but I got those tariff things to deal with. Potentially.
There's
They're
not
on one day, go off the next day. So
there's not a Canadian company that makes bodies and necks?
I'm sure there is. But, you know, Warmoth is kind of a standard.
I think Warmoth and Musicraft, which is where I just ordered my neck from, Musicraft. So
Exactly, right? And you're pretty well guaranteed that you're going to get what's on the tin.
Yep.
I've had a couple of warmest necks over the years, and they've always been spot on.
So the newest project, I'll show a little bit of it off, is this. That is now in pieces and getting taken apart. This is a parts build. This is a lock guitar body. You can kind of see that stamp in the neck pocket there. It's a lock guitar's Frankie body. And
Hang on a sec. It's coming, man. Just give me some time to find the right one.
right. I almost ordered a Charvel Spec Telly body today, but I decided against it.
Well, you know that John is too loud guy from overseas.
Yeah.
He just demoed a Schecter Telly. Be damned if that thing didn't sound great.
A PT.
Yeah. So it's like, well, maybe I should try one of those.
But
Sorry, carry on.
I had this guitar built. Kurt knows by who.
Cupcake? Isn't that who it is? Cupcake decorator?
Yeah, just cake decorator. I'm not going to slam him too hard here.
So did he make
like
that
I
body,
fucking
or
should.
did he just buy it
No,
from somewhere?
no. I spec'd out the parts I wanted, because if you want to build a Van Halen guitar, Lock Custom Guitars does the most accurate bodies and necks that you can get. Donnie Ward and Chris Locke put a crap load of time and research into that kind of stuff. And Donnie Ward, I think, still making the necks for him and all that stuff. But this body, the original, as always goes back to Van Halen, but the original Frankie body is a 2-piece Northern Ash body, which is what this is. And it's actually, this body's pretty heavy. When the guitar is assembled, this thing weighs like 9.5 pounds. But it was back when Dave Schechter was making bodies for boogie bodies. So the upper horn is a little thinner than a normal Strat. The contours aren't quite the same as a regular Strat body, which a Charvel is not either. But anywho, so I had this guitar built. The neck that was put on it was absolute dog shit and was not what I spec'd out. So I hit up Donnie Ward and had him make me a neck, which is back here, bird's eye maple neck to what I wanted. And I don't know, this guitar showed up, set up like shit. The Floyd was sitting up off the body because the big block on the 84 Floyd wouldn't clear the route, which has been corrected on these lock bodies. When they did the 84 reissue Floyds, the block actually sits like 2 millimeter further forward.
Right.
So
you
a
got
lot
the
of
clearance.
Right. So a lot of them won't, some of these bodies, they won't clear the route. Lock has corrected. So now it's no worries. But instead of, getting a fucking Dremel and routing it out, 2 millimeter or whatever, so the block will clear, he just shipped it to me like that. And I got that handled and got it playing. It didn't sound that great. The fretwork on there was horrible. And so yeah, I had Donnie make me a new neck. The Donnie Ward neck's great. Got it all squared away. This is one of Willie's rocket pickups. I think this is a regular flamethrower and a 1/4 pounder in the neck. But anyway, I got it squared away and it got it playing good, sounding good. And then it's just one of those that I had such a bad taste in my mouth with it that I just didn't care anything about it.
Yep.
So I think I've played it on the show like twice. And yeah. So instead of buying new stuff, I've always been talking about getting parts and putting something together. And I'm like, you know what? I've got that body over there. Let me just sand that body down, get a neck that I want, that I really, really want to, something to my spec, completely to my spec. And I just decided a couple weeks ago I'm finally going to do it. So I ordered the neck Friday and bought my paint and my clear and all that stuff. And this weekend, since it's a 3-day weekend here for us Americans,
America.
I'm going to finish stripping this body down, and I'm going to sand it down to the layer of black paint, and just kind of get it leveled out. And then I'm going to shoot the new color over it, probably in the paint booth at work. And we're going to freeze it and let it check, because the paint and the clear is nitro. So we'll let it get all checked out. I might do some relicking to it a little bit with the help of the knowledge that 40 Grit has bestowed upon me. And yeah, you know, maybe in a month or so, we'll see this thing, the new version of this thing in action. That's that. And if anybody
Joe's
wants
asking
it,
about an alternative to Warmouth, and I think you said it there with Music Craft. Yeah?
Music Craft all the way. Music Craft is Scott Smith is to do for Music Craft, and great guy, knows his shit, and they have plenty of offerings for necks, bodies, you know, whatever you could want. If you want one of like the 5 iterations of a Kramer banana headstock neck, they make it. You know, if you want a Charvel body or a Strat body or a vintage Strat body or an Explorer, I mean, wood's out the ass. You want 5A flame maple, that's what I got. And or roasted bird's eye or whatever, they do it. And I've never played anything that was made out of Music Craft parts that was bad. So K&E is another one. Randy Butala, he kind of focuses more on stuff like ESP and like the George Lynch guitars. He does some EVH stuff, shaped bodies and necks as well. But you got to watch it if you want a Strat headstock, like a legit Strat headstock. You've got to
just type it in, Steven. I think it'd be fun. Music Crafter.
It's MUSIKRAFT. But to get a Strat headstock that you're not going to have to modify the ball end of it, they've got to be a licensed replacement parts dealer by Fender. So, and as far as I know, that's Music Craft, that's Warmouth, and I think K&E is as well. So, all right, ran off. I'm next.
Cool.
Now for the next 3.5 hours, Jimmy will give you a living history of
I was going through
Of the tree that this guitar came from.
how he replaced the neck on a neck through
On a
body.
neck through.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I have to, you know, you probably seen the little disaster I had with this guitar on Sunday where I picked it up and it was completely out of tune. Well, I'd been fighting it because I didn't get my new tuners in time, because the ones that were on here weren't cutting it. They were just not stable. So yesterday I got my Graphtech locking ratios on it, and guess what? Stays in tune perfect now.
Isn't
Nice.
that the thing, eh?
Sir William of Bologna. Is that Billy Bologna?
So, yeah, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, all parts.
Yeah, all parts as well.
No. But yeah, I mod the shit out of everything. Even a lot of times, even if it doesn't need it, because I just can't help myself. You know, I have to do it. Yeah. So I mean, it's been a monumental waste of money on my behalf. But the benefit is there's been a lot of gained knowledge about what works, what doesn't, when is something going to work, and when it won't. So, but
Chuck, how
I mean,
you doing,
like,
brother?
We get searching for
Charles
tone.
Green.
No, we
What's
didn't.
up, Brian?
What's up, dude? What's up, Charles Green? Chuck Effin Verde?
Chuck.
Mark's gas station. Did we see him already?
No, my chat's like way behind.
But so this guitar, this is a 1979 Araya Pro 2 RS X80, and other than, obviously neck through, you know, it's got these brass cavity plates on them. So you notice it's got this extra little dealio here.
That's because
got-
Jimmy changed the neck 3 times.
Yeah. And it's got 3 holes there. And so this particular model had a booster circuit in it, which is this. So this runs off of 2 9-volts, and it was basically a 2-stage boost / overdrive that really sounded more like, a bad fuzz. Because, it was 1979.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, nowadays you can take this whole thing and the mess of wires and the rather large circuit board, and now they've reduced that to 1 potentiometer with a tiny little circuit board and, and a little selector switch where you can basically do the same thing. That probably sounds better. So I tried using this, and it was raping the sound of the guitar. It was really bad. So I took it out, and I think what I want to do with this guitar is, since I have these 2 switches that were for series parallel, so now coil splits for the 2 pickups, and then now I have this switch. So I think what I want to do is put an active EQ, like a Alembic or a Carvin, and have a bass, middle, treble, and then run it off of and then find one that'll run off of 18 volts, and then just have it, and then this switch will just be for active, passive.
Kind of like the Tyler way they do things.
Yeah. So I think that would be a fun little excursion for Jim to, do some wiring and pull out what's left of my hair. Doing there, but there's all kinds of books, and everybody sends diagrams with all their crap pretty much now. So, and there's lots of.
No, Renee. The Surf Green one has a dummy coil in it that does the noise canceling, but it's not active. It's just literally, I looked at it a couple of weeks ago when it had the pick guard off, and it's literally just a chunk of steel or magnet, I guess. Pretty cool. Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
So like a little bobbin type, or
Yeah.
I've had a couple guitars that have this in the circuit. They put, it's just a little tiny bobbin with some, some windings.
Yeah, no,
and a
this
really
thing is
weak magnet.
like that long, and it's like a slug from a pickup. Yeah.
I've seen those back plates for Strats. Take a battery. They replace the trim cavity cover.
Yeah.
For, I guess, people to put on their vintage Strats or whatever that are super noisy. Those are pretty neat. I forget who makes them.
There's a lot of guitars. Usually when I get a guitar is I just I'll play it because you got to have a starting point.
Right.
What does the guitar sound like?
What's up, dude?
Billiam. Play with it. I'll put new strings on it. What's the sustain like? What does it sound plugged in? Play it acoustically. Is it or is it really vibrating? Is the headstock vibrating, or is the body vibrating?
Do you do that Steve Vai shit where he like thumps the body, then thumps the neck, and see if they're the same tone?
That's just, to me, that's just nonsense.
It's not Steve Vai.
Yeah, well, people can believe what they want to believe, but you don't know until you play the guitar, the assembled guitar. You don't know. You could tap on shit all day long, and that ain't gonna tell you nothing until you assemble the guitar.
Now, I will say that tapping on an acoustic is a decent way to tell something. You
Yep.
find it's resonant, like harmonic note from tapping on the body, and then play that note on the fretboard and see how well that note, how loud that note is, how it sustains, whatever. A lot of those country guys do that when they buy the old Martins and stuff. They'll tap on it and find it's like resonant peak note or whatever. And if it's,
I mean,
a C sharp,
that's-
then they'll keep it tuned down a half step or something.
that's
You know,
the
it's-
mechanical principle of an acoustic is
Correct.
resonance and predicting sound, but not so much on solid body guitars. To me, I would rather not have the guitar be vibrating a whole bunch, because physics tells me that if your guitar is vibrating more, is that vibrational energy is being lost out of the string and being transmitted into the rest of the guitar.
You can go with all that science shit. Now, see, I'm the exact. I'm kind of opposite when it comes to that. I like a big. To me, on an electric guitar, solid body electric guitar, especially on a bolt-on neck, if it resonates really well and vibrates like that, normally the guitar is warmer and richer sounding, in my opinion, in my experience. It could be one of those, like Steve Vai tapping on shit type in my head, but a lot of them that don't do that sound like complete total ass.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget that was the whole reason behind the design of the solid body electric guitar, because what was the problem before was the body was resonating and causing feedback.
Right.
So the solid body came to be because the body doesn't vibrate and create feedback. Now, whether or not, people believe a number of different things that tone wood and vibrations and blah blah blah. It's like, to me anymore, I just don't care. Because if it sounds good, it is good. I could care less what it's made out of. Things like, big blocks and different kinds of metals for, bridges and nuts and all that, is I kind of made the determination that if a guitar sounds like crap and is dull and lifeless, it's probably a pretty good bet that a different type of metal bridge or a big block, whatever, on your Floyd,
If it's-
probably isn't going to make that much difference.
Yeah, if it's that bad off where it's just dead in its stock form, it's probably. There's maybe you can go with pickups and whatever to try and salvage some of it, but if the whole guitar is just soulless, dead, then it's usually just a dead thing. Now, you can take a guitar, and this from experience. You can take a guitar that's just dead and swap the neck on it if it's a bolt-on or something, and it just may come alive.
It's happened many times, and that's why I got into that's why I had to laugh at the whole tone wood debate, is because how many professional guitar players went, I changed the body on my guitar because I needed something else. It's like nobody's ever said that. Ever. It's, you've seen Eddie with multiple necks on his guitars. You've seen George Lynch, like his original black and yellow Tiger.
Yep.
How many necks has that guitar had on it?
Right.
Or how many necks?
Eddie did do the thing there in around Women and Children First, where he was between that and Fair Warning, where he was trying out 2-inch thick bodies, because he was thinking, more mass, more powerful sound or whatever. And you saw how long he stuck with that. Not long. Yeah. They were backup guitars at the end of the day. But I think what Holdsworth is who got him hooked on that basswood thing. But I don't like basswood because it's soft. How many times have you seen a basswood guitar just rip Floyd studs right out of the body? if they don't have like a hard top on them, like a maple top or something.
Yeah. Or if not, got a drop of glue or something in them to hold. I mean, if you,
I mean,
I would
you can
blame
take
the
a
builder on that, because if that wood's really soft, you shouldn't really. I mean, because like any other wood, there's different grades and different hardnesses. I've seen soft maple and I've seen super hard mahogany. It's just
Yep.
it probably the biggest thing that I've seen is like on the early Floyd Roses with the wood screw post.
Yeah.
I mean,
Stu says dead like my PRS. Well, I've played plenty of PRSs that were very, very underwhelming for $7,000 price tags, and I've played some $5,000 PRSs that were pretty good. And that's just like Billy Bologna here, Sir William of Bologna III. I've played a lot of dead sounding Strats, even vintage ones. Yeah, dude, there's 58, 59 burst Les Pauls that sound like shit.
Well, I told the story the other.
Not all vintage guitars were great.
No, I played probably in the last month. I probably played 5 custom shop tellies, all with the same spec, and year profile, and 2 of them were really good. And of the 2, one was much more open, resonant. So I mean, the thought of actually ordering one of those things is no way.
The first time I ever went to Righteous Guitars a couple years ago, that was my whole point. I had some change in my pocket going jang-a-lang-a-lang, and I wanted to play. I had it in my head that I needed a custom shop Strat.
Right.
There's something about like a 61 or a 63 Strat in a specific color that I can't tell, because it may be the color that this is going to end. I think John and Kurt know the color, because I've talked to Kurt about painting stuff. So at the time, Righteous had like 4 or 5. They had like a couple 61s and a couple 63s, and I think maybe like a 60 or 65 or something. Anyway, in different various stages of relicking and whatnot. And dude, like, there was one 63 that sounded amazing. The other 4 were like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've played Mexican Strats that sound better than these.
Yep.
But you could. Who's to say you couldn't swap necks between those, and then you've got 3 bangers.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I've done that multiple times where I've had multiples of the same guitar, and you get a couple of them that are just like, yep, these things just aren't doing it. So I take the necks and just do the old switcheroo, and all of a sudden you get, now you're just left with one dead one, and 2 of them that wake, or the rest of them that wake up.
Yep.
Bo says, I've never had a Hamer. Thinking of getting a few. What do you think? I like the old Hamer standards.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hamer standard for sure. Find a Californian. And a what was the other one? It's a double cut looking thing. I think Leonard Todd has one.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the model of it. Zach Thong says he likes electrics. I like electric and I like to play them, but I love playing acoustics. And that, you know what? That's cool, man.
Absolutely. It's funny talking about the neck swaps. Steve's got a story of a buddy back in England who had 2.
Damn.
He had 2 early 60s Strats, legit ones. And one sounded okay and the other sounded like a dog. And they, he looked at it and they took both necks, boom, switched them around. Absolute bangers.
Yep. Steve Stevens plays Nags now. He has I think he's got a Nags signature model.
Yep.
He does. Yeah.
Or Japanese, or Wolfgangs. He's been spotted playing Wolfgangs a lot in the last few years.
It's funny, going back to that wood talk debate or tone wood debate. kind of think it's the base of what you build on, right? And for me, like a rock and bolt-on neck guitar, I always lean towards mahogany because it has it has a certain something to it. I've got two. My parts guitar is mahogany, and the black one is mahogany, and the blue one is alder. And they've got the same pickups, basically the same, hardware and all that stuff, and they sound quite different.
Right.
Like the alder, and they both do different things, but they both can do the same job. So I think, and that's been my experience over the years. I mean, that's why I've always tried to find a Les Paul, because they got a something to them, and I attribute that to the mahogany body.
I could have sold you one.
No.
See, I tend to go for alder or swamp ash.
Mm-hmm. Both
Now,
great woods.
And this body's northern ash.
Yep.
Which, the lure of northern ash is it's brighter than swamp ash. Now, this guitar, when it was assembled, was fairly bright in the original configuration. And that's why I had Willie wind me one of his flamethrower pickups, kind of tame some of that high end. And after that, it was a really good mid-range sounding guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So, the pickups to me are more, especially when you're playing like we do and you're playing with gain and all that shit. To me, that's more on the pickups than it is the wood of the guitar. I'll buy into the tone wood hardcore on acoustic stuff. But I think
it depends what you're
where it
playing through
matters.
too, Randy.
Yeah, I think it matters on electric to a point, but once you get gobs of gain and modulation effects and shit
just
like
goes.
that, I mean,
Yeah, way down. Well, I mean, listen to Ryan's GL2T.
yeah,
And that's essentially what, plastic and carbon fiber or something along those lines. And it sounds huge.
yep.
But again, like, what are you playing through? Like, he's playing through the high gain 5150s with the gain on 10.
On the blue channel.
Yeah. And you're playing, both of you guys are playing through heavy preamps, or you guys aren't playing Marshall circuits. And Marshalls tend to have a high, like a mid high to them, right? And you can tell the difference between mahogany guitar and the ash guitar. I mean, the ash is much brighter. It sounds really good, but
Yeah, you bet, Rick. Shit, that was like 5-6 years ago.
Right.
glad
for the
glad you
trim.
still enjoy the guitar that it went on. It's awesome.
that's cool.
Going on the side.
So, question I'll throw out to the chat people is, those of you that do mod your guitars, I noticed somebody mentioned he uses all Sustain, blah, 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 whatever that company was, parts. Who do you guys have a preference? Like, Geiger or, Godo, Kaish.
For hardware?
For hardware, for your modifications, for tuners, bridges.
I've always done on my parts guitars all Godo stuff. The Floyd, right? Real Floyd, German Floyd.
A lot of being a Floyd guy, everybody and their brother are all FU tone this, FU tone that. And, I've spent some money at FU tone and I've bought some stuff. But I mean, dude, and I'm not knocking saying the Godo trims are bad, because they're great. I don't like the way they feel under my hand. And I think it's because I'm so used to my hand sitting on Floyd saddles.
They feel different. I've got one on remember the blue guitar I gave my son? That's an FU tone Godo. And I've got a real German one on my other guitar I still play. And there's a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
That I feel. Like
Yeah.
even in the mechanism and how it works and all, it just feels different to me.
Now, if I've got to spend money on tuners, I'll buy Godos.
Yeah.
Because Grovers are ridiculously expensive now. And I mean, you can stick a Godo and a Schaller side by side and they're close enough. And Godo makes good shit.
Really good stuff.
Hardtail stuff. I always like the hip shot bridges. I've got a few guitars in storage that have hip shots on them. But for upgrade parts, you know, if not really, it's a modification parts, you know, I buy the titanium saddle blocks from Floyd because they're like $15 cheaper just to get them from Floyd. Now they're not polished and shit like FU Tones or whoever's, but I don't care. You know, I've tried the whole stainless screws, titanium screws, and I don't notice a damn bit of difference in any kind of tone from that, you know. And the only reason I use the titanium blocks, and if you know anything about metallurgy or however you say it, which I don't, I just know titanium is supposed to have a lower tensile strength than steel, but I've never cracked a titanium insert, and I've cracked a fuckload of those steel ones. And they're real fun to fish out of the saddle after that too. But you know, if I bought a guitar that had a Floyd special on it, it's going, and that's, I would say throw it in the trash, but I'd probably put it on reverb for $50. But you know, that whole zinc sustain block and zinc saddles that's a no go for me. You
I
know,
use the titanium, same thing, the screws and the little blocky things. Because I cranked that shit down, and I don't know whether it means it certainly doesn't do anything to the tone, I've noticed. And I just put them on because I heard Ed did it, and he cranked the shit out of his things like I do. So
yeah, and like Jimmy brought up the big brass blocks earlier. The only thing I've ever noticed with a big brass block, and I'm not talking about using one of the little stoppers or something. If you want to get the effect of a big brass block, you need to glue a piece of wood to the body for the block to contact, and you lose your ability to float at that point. But if you really want to feel a big brass block, in my experience, would bring out some more bell-like chime and some more resonant low end or whatnot, that block needs to be in contact with the body of the guitar, not 100%. not a little fucking screw with a piece of tape between it or something like that. You know,
I hear you.
that's just my opinion on my experience with it, because my black SoCal with the green on it, it's got a big block on it, and when I bought it, they had one of the brass trim stoppers on there with like a piece of gaff tape to silence it where you don't get the big thud.
Yeah.
And I noticed absolutely no difference in it until I had everything else done, and I glued a piece of freaking, I think it's a piece of walnut to the inside of the trim cavity for the block to sit against, and that's how it is right now.
Yep.
You
I've
know?
got
Oh, there it is.
what?
There's that, you know, there's the claims,
yeah.
the claims of all this.
Yeah.
You know, and
so I've in my that parts guitar, I've got the biggest block you can fit in there. And I had Steve again. He'd done, like you said, like it was a walnut thing.
Yep.
And that thing just, you know, it, like you said, it's more bottom end, more just overall everything.
Right.
Like you said, this. And then for some reason, I pulled that out. Oh, yeah, because I was thinking I was going to float it. And then I bought the same thing you've got, that L bracket, and it's no good.
Yeah, I want to highlight that again real quick. Greasy brings up monster bolts. That's something apparently a lot of people don't know about in the Floyd parts realm is monster bolts.
What's that?
They make they make bolts, but they make a lot of shit for Floyds. They make your saddle lock screws, your nut clamping screws, you know, your saddle, your intonation screws, all that stuff.
Right.
And they do the different colors and all that stuff, and they're significantly cheaper than anybody else makes and sells those things for. You can get them on Amazon. I know Joe Wentz is a huge proponent of Monster Bolt.
Blues like in the Wilkinson
Well,
tuners.
I mean, Wilkinson. I mean, even probably the company. I mean, there's a lot of companies like, you know, take like Geiger. They started out making just super cheap junk, and now they've really upped their game as far as, you know, tuners and you know, making all kinds of, you know, tailpieces and pickguards, and but the quality of their stuff is really shot through the roof. I've dealt with some of their parts, and it's like, okay, they're getting right to the point where they're almost on par with, say, like Godo.
Right. So Brian Peterson wants to know what do you say, the best Japanese Charvel? Best made in Japan Charvel you can get for under 2 G's? All right. I need to stop telling y'all this shit.
Because they're going to drive the prices up.
It's going to be one of these. This is a 2011 SoCal or San Dimas, and I have two 2011 SoCals, which are the top routed with a pick card. These, and I know a lot of people like Dave likes the old model series from the late 80s. I don't, because they've got the behind the nut Kaler thing, because Floyd was still a Kramer proprietary deal back then. But bang for your buck. The thing is, these things were $1,100 brand new. And like everything else in the guitar world in 2020, 2021, people started remembering how good these guitars are. And prices started going through the roof. And they're finally kind of starting to come back to reality. You know, they were $1,100 with a case. And to me, these are like the pinnacle. These and the 2008 to 2010 USA production run guitars. They're better than anything Charvel makes now, especially out of Mexico. And I'm not saying the Mexican ones are bad. I have a Mexican one. But just the overall feel and playability of these necks are a little bit chunkier. I think the Speed C is like 0.770 to 0.840 or something. And these are 0.790 to, I think, 0.860.
A little bit more.
0.870, something like that at the 12th. And they're a little more round in the C shape. I mean, it's still a thin C, but it's wide enough where you've got real estate on both sides of the E's if your string alignment's good. And yeah, I don't know, man. And I'm sure there's some of these out there that are duds, but every one that I've played and own they're fantastic. The fucking necks don't move. They're quarter sawn. They're one piece necks. They're quarter sawn maple. They're super stable. Dude, the downside is you've got to take the neck off to adjust the truss rod because it's got the hex adjust down here. And that's the downside. But the upside is I may have to do it once a year.
Yeah, because it's
super stable.
Right?
Yeah, it's all quarter sawn. It's quarter sawn fret. It's like I said, they're one piece necks. All the newer ones, the Mexico ones, are flat sawn with a quarter sawn fretboard, and I'm pretty sure not all of them have quarter sawn fretboards. I think it's just kind of whatever they had laying around that day. They were making fretboards, because I'm pretty sure my Henrik Donhage signature is a flat sawn fretboard as well. But you know, if they're dried out like they're supposed to be, it's not that big a deal.
Right. Fista Cuffer says he has 3 kamikaze style guitars. One's a banger, one's so-so, and one's horrible.
Are you
set up the same spec, same everything.
Are you talking about certain Chinese builder, Fisticuffers?
Oh, and back to Brian Peterson real quick. So on average, when you see those on Reverb, people are wanting 18 to 1800, 22, 20 to 23. Don't fucking pay that.
No.
You can usually let them, start throwing some lowball offers out. I mean, I've got three of those Japanese Charvels, and I haven't paid more than $1,100 for any of them. So there's a San Dimas just like mine, well, with the stock pickups and stuff on Reverb right now. I think he's got it listed at $15.99, but he sent me an offer for $12.50 on it, and I almost bought it. So,
But on principle,
it's a 2010, I believe, white San Dimas. So if you shot him an offer for about $1,200, he'd probably take it.
that's all
Buy
I
it
got to
before
say
I
about
fucking
that.
do. Spent $600 something on a neck. I don't need to buy another one.
Rick's saying it's all good. Some of us are not high budget players. We do what we can. Well, the good news is that there's tons of really great guitars out there.
Yep.
And there's tons of great
Shitty
parts
high-end guitars.
that aren't high budget. I mean, yes, there are, say like when it comes to like Fender or Gibson parts, Callahan or all that is your, high dollar. Is it necessarily going to be better? Is it going to, is that price difference going to make your guitar sound better? I doubt it. But, like Geiger, and there's a bunch of companies that make, good parts, that for the budget minded.
Right.
So there's no shortage of that.
Back to the metal. Some Dave dude sent his 52 reissue from brass to compensated titanium saddles. And yeah, it had, I guess it has, well, that's really going to show, because I mean, the strings are coming right over that, right?
Right.
But, and they're 2 bolts on each saddle going, or 2 screws going right to the base plate.
Yep.
So yeah, you're going to be able to tell difference for sure.
Yep.
But I know, again, it's all guitar dependent, because one a really good player, Dan from the pedal show, he plays his red Telly, which is a 62 custom shop, I think it is. And he had the brass ones in there, and he changed over to titanium, and just the way it worked, the thing just sounds killer.
Yep.
I don't think there's any real rule with that, that's going to sound better.
Well, I mean, I know some players where, especially like if, playing, really, the bluesy stuff, is they don't want their guitar being overly bright. They want it kind of dialed back.
That's, yeah. Which is weird, because with a Telly, they're kind of inherently bright, right?
Yes.
Right.
So you'd think you want to go with the brass, but like I said, Dan's that Telly it's one of the special ones. It really is, because it's huge sounding and sounds every bit of Telly is at the same time.
Dave knows the guitar I was just talking about too. Dave, he sent me an offer for $12.50, dude. Hit him with that, he'll sell it to you.
Are you caught up, Randy, in the chat?
I'm getting no. That's made in Japan. Japan custom. Darren wants to know, Jimmy, how often do you swap out trims on your Ibanez's? Or do you? Oh, he does.
Well, when it comes to my Ibanez's, I keep Ibanez to Ibanez.
Right.
Is the edge trim and all of it's, not all of it's the edge, the low pro and the pro edge. And I am kind of partial to the stripped down edge 0. It's same parts, basically, same knife edges. It's got the grub screws in the post to lock the post down. They do work, but they do use this little gizmo, the thumb screw wheel, that I will be modding a guitar with this.
What's that do, Jimmy?
So this is the spring adjustment.
Oh, okay, yeah, in the back. Yeah.
So I'm going to modify this to try it in a non-Ibanez guitar.
Little TIG welding.
Jimmy, I think this
No.
guy's talking to you.
Yeah.
I'll think
Hell,
about it.
the devil
see.
don't want me.
You know, every time, we stay off as much as possible religion and politics here because this is guitar-oriented stuff. But anytime I see somebody pop in with something like that, I always think of that lady at Myers in Michigan. I'm trying to help you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You motherfucker!
Yeah.
Jason Hobbs says the best Floyd Rose equipped guitar I've ever played and owned is my Purple Sparkle ZF Fender Custom Shop Strat. I own a Charvel as well, but it's nowhere near as good as the Fender. Some of them custom shops, dude, they get some extra love in them or something, man. And there's some serious banger custom shops out there. I've played some great ones too.
Yep.
Oh, now Dave's talking about that's the same. Yeah, he knows that's the same guitar.
Well, I think what it really comes down to is,
No,
it's just
Chuck, it's a
the body
white
and the neck
sandiness.
working together, and it just,
Yes.
there was nobody really testing it. It just kind of, that's the way it happened, and that's why you end up with those extra special guitars.
Jason says pickups are what made my Fender Custom Shop Floyd equipped Strat. It has a super distortion and sats track neck. I've never heard a better pickup configuration than any Floyd Strat I've ever owned. And see, I'm a hater of the super distortion. I have pulled like 4 super distortions out and sold them because I don't like the super distortion. But I mean, how many historical classic albums have been recorded with something with a super distortion in it? A fuckload.
Yep.
See, Quentin, it was Myers. That's something they have up north, Q.
All this talk has got me itching to do my my parts guitar over here.
Well, this guitar here is a classic example of, this has had like 6 different necks on it,
Yeah.
and every time I've changed the neck on it as I was getting a different result, whether it was too bright or too dark or no sustain. I mean, you pick it, and this ebony Wolfgang special neck was the one that I finally ended up going with because I think it's got probably
Thanks, Q.
it has all the bases covered.
And you're happy now?
Yeah.
Later, Rick. Thanks for stopping in, bud.
Yeah. Thanks
See
for
ya,
dropping
man.
in, Rick.
You hear that, Q? I said thanks, bud. He knows what he did. Joe McGraw says he bought his son an Ampeg bass SVT 4x10 cabinet that was half the price. The guy wanted to repent and just made him uncomfortable. Hee hee. Quentin's talking about his girlfriend, the cigarette lady.
Uh-huh. Emilio's encouraging
Yeah, Emilio's no longer here. Emiliano, see ya.
I was gonna say what would Buddha say?
How are you running the 2 Digitech chorus
Oh,
pedals?
jeez.
Which one is first and what are the settings?
You ever hear
Very-
a beer can open? Here we go.
Very similarly to the way Jimmy is, because we're running the same 2.
Well,
The multi-chorus is it goes into it first. That's my stereo split. And then it goes into the CR7 Digitech hardwire after that. And I have them set fairly similar. was it, how the hell was it? Width, what the fuck? They're set similar, damn it.
Speed down, depth
Speed-
up.
Speed all the way down, depth all the way up. The multi-course is about the what do you call it? The mode is on like 130, and then I have the level at about 11 o'clock, and the CR7 is pretty similar. Speeds all the way down, depth up. It's on the multi-chorus mode, and I have the level on it about 10 o'clock.
And then from that you go into a fucking mimic, yeah.
That's right. And then we
Jesus
go into the
Christ,
to
I don't
the
know how you guys do it.
to the doubler,
Yeah.
and then it goes into the harmonist, and then it goes into the SDE3. Yeah.
So after the mimic, you guys are gonna have to get each of you get an H90 and go through the SD or the Eventide H3000 to go even wider.
Well, really, if you want the full effects loop layout, it goes into the hum extractor / decimator G string, then into the sonic maximizer, then into the harmonist, then the multi-chorus, the CR7, the mimic, and then the delay.
Fucking hell. But it works, right?
Yep.
I could move the harmonist after the mimic and then have it stereo in and stereo out. And instead, I'm just running it in mono. You're good, Arky. You're good.
What's
And
Gene
then
saying
mine's
here? Oh yeah. Go.
multi-chorus CR7 mimic, or then the RV7, the hardwired reverb. Then into the mimic SDE, and then into my 2 graphic EQs. That's it.
That's all.
That's it.
Gene Splice, calculating the resonance point of the strings based on scale length on a guitar, and then altering the pickup position slightly with new routing can make a dead guitar come alive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Is that Kurt saying bye?
Bear,
I think he was talking to the Jesus Loves Me guy.
bear.
Oh, yeah. Jason says, wow, I love the Super Distortion. My Charvel had a Junkin JB. I'm not too fussy on it. I may change it out for a V16 pickup. So if it's a newer JB, let me tell you what you do with that. Take it out of the guitar, unwrap the tape, and swap that polished A5 magnet for a rough cast A5 magnet and put her back in. And you'll be like, wow, sounds like an 80s JB. Because essentially that's pretty much what you'll have after that.
That's right, Q. Into the HAL 9000 after
Right.
the H3000.
So you would spend $1,100 knowing you will pull out the pit. Hell yeah.
That's where that $400 savings come in from the 1500.
That's right. I'm not going to look, man. I've got banjo mics on speed dial, so you know. Hell yeah, dude. I don't care. I've got a Adrian Smith USA Jackson back there that, I mean, they're fucking $3,000 now. That one wasn't when it was new because I've had it a few years. All the stock electronics have been ripped out of it. Q has the neck pickup and the middle pickup. But yeah, I don't care. I don't care if it's a $10,000 guitar. If I don't like the pickups, then they're going bye-bye. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Jimmy question since he has one or 5.
And yes, there's the answer, I think.
He's running it now.
Yep. It's in my chain. Love it.
What is it?
Buy one if you can find it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, because those prices of those pedals just keep going up and up.
Yep. What is that I don't like about the Super Distortion? The same thing I don't like about just about every other ceramic magnet pickup.
The only
Quite
ceramic
fizzy.
magnet pickup that I really enjoy
They're not
is
fizzy. They're
the
high end
DiMarzio
spiky.
Evo 2.
I like the Evolution neck, and the Super 3 when it comes to ceramic Mac pickups. Those are my two. I like the Evolution. I don't like the Evolution Bridge. I like the Evolution Neck, and I like the Super 3. But if your guitar is already in that mid-range, kind of like balanced sound, the Super 3 is just going to make it a low-end powerhouse. So if you got a really super bright guitar, I'd pop a Super 3 in. But yeah, the same thing with the Super Distortion is pretty much everything else with the ceramic magnet. Most of them have this high-end spike that I don't like. The Duncan Distortions are the same way, and they're just a JB with a double thick ceramic magnet. They've got a high-end spikiness that just doesn't do it for me.
Fisticuff right there.
Blue Mox doesn't trust the Howe 9000. The pickup I was most
allow you to do that, Dave.
The pickup I was most disappointed in was a Bare Knuckle Aftermath, but it's a Northern Ash body guitar. The only Bare Knuckles I've ever played were the ones when Ola England started his deal with Strictly 7 Guitars back in like 2011. I had his original prototype 7-string for about a week. And I think it had a nail bomb. It had nail bombs in it, and they were okay. Even he got rid of them.
Yep.
But
aren't all the pickups in Solar guitars pretty much Duncan?
Yeah, they're
Duncan based.
They're the Duncan Solar or Solar. They're based off the 59 Custom Hybrid, basically. I mean, they're like a tweaked 59 Custom Hybrid because that's Ola's favorite Duncan pickup.
Isn't the Second Degree Black Belt a really good pickup?
A lot of people like it for that early Van Halen stuff.
Yeah.
That's Motor City.
Oh, I thought that was. Sorry.
No. Bare Knuckle makes the VH2.
Right.
Yeah, Motor City makes now. Jerry Cantrell plays Motor City pickups, the Afwayu, and he's got a custom wine that's based off the Afwayu. But yeah, I've been really interested in the Bare Knuckle. Was it the Rebel Yell or the Holy Diver? Yeah, the Holy Diver. But I think the Rebel Yell and the Holy Diver are both kind of JB based, like 80s JB based. And then the Rabia Masad silos, I've kind of been interested in those. But I'm not paying $180 fucking dollars for a pickup. It's not happening.
I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Not when I can call up Banjo Mics and get a brand new Tone Zone or something for, $80.
Or call Willie up and say, "What do you got?"
Oh, yeah, right. Or have Willie, or just tell Willie what I want and he whines it.
Yeah. So what would be an updated version of a old custom?
El Nico 2 magnet.
A custom.
14.
I thought you said all the new ones are shit.
I said the new JBs are compared to the old JBs. I don't like the customs. It's the same reason I don't like the EVH Frankenstein pickups. It's a fucking custom with a different wire insulation thickness. It's the same pickup.
Well, I'm not asking if you like it or you don't like it. I'm asking if there's an updated version of it.
I think all those newer EVH Frankenstein high output and all that crap are kind of based off of it.
Yeah.
I think the other one, the low output one's like a lower output custom.
Huh.
Yes.
Never been a big fan of the El Nico 2, El Nico 2 pickup either.
I'm not either. I find A2s for what I do and amp EQs I like. I find A2s to be fizzy in the bridge position.
I love them.
I don't like the Wolfgang pickups that are A2 magnets either.
Right.
The neck sounds good, but the bridge pickups to me are fizzy.
Let's say if you dump a lot of gain on them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ed's tone when he started using the A2s was fizzy.
Oh yeah, that's no good.
So
I don't know. I always loved them right from the Seth Lover and all of those, but I don't play with the game that you guys do. Jason Hobbs there? Or are you frozen?
No, I'm not frozen.
Holding incredibly still with your eyes squinted.
Right, because I'm reading. D-Side says he forgot about Strictly 70. They were a flash in the pan good company there for a few years and gone. Put titanium Floyd Rose string lock inserts, big brass block, futon springs, brought that guitar to life. Couldn't believe the difference. It's on my EVH Black Frankenstein relic. Nice.
Cool.
Well, glad your money spent got you some difference, because that's not always the case.
Isn't that always true, right? Try this pickup, try that pickup, try this. Fuck.
Have you put a trimbucker in an EVH bridge position so the pole pieces line up with the strings? I have, but not in a Wolfgang.
Yep, I have. You have to do some creative routing with a Dremel to get them to fit, because Seymour Duncan uses a longer bobbin, which in turn means they use a longer base plate, and so you have to. It'll fit through the top. The pickup itself will fit through the top, but you have to relieve the legs, the ears on the legs, and then you have to like undercut the routing, and then kind of get the pickup in, and then drop it down. The bobbins will fit in that route, but the rest of the pickup will not. So you have to basically, from the top down, you leave the face of the guitar as is, and then you have to just route down and outwards away from the original opening on there
one of
to
these,
get that
Jason?
to fit.
One of these black
It
Frankie
can be done, but it's a pain in the ass.
This
Is
is a
it
trim.
worth it?
This is a trimbucker in this guitar. It's DiMarzio though, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Don't they call that F spacing?
Yep.
Yeah, but DiMarzio's smart, and they use regular size bobbins and just spread the poles out. Dude, my gain's on noon, bro.
Yeah, but it's an uber fucking.
It's a Fryette, man.
I don't know. I tend to agree with you, Jason.
Now you like that bright fucking yacht rock thing.
Yeah, I love what the hell is Frankenset? So is that an old school, like a low output 7K, or is that a higher output one?
Depends if you do the Pasadena white or the Pasadena black. The Pasadena black's a custom EVH Frankenstein, and then the white's basically a Duncan 78.
Oh, so he's got both covered, white and black.
And then the red is the Wolfgang clone. Then he does the Pound Cake, which is the Music Man DiMarzio clone, and then the 86, which is him trying to replicate the broken JB from the 5150. But yeah, you can get the Franken set in either the black or the white, and he gives you the dummy neck pickup with the red phenolic cover.
Right. I don't know who was telling me, but if you actually hook that pickup, it works, I think. No?
On the stock ones they do, yeah.
Right.
When I had a red, black, and white Frankie Relic, mine was wired up. It does work. It's some generic Fender single coil, A5 single coil. I mean, it sounds pretty good, but
I never got on with Wolfgang pickups.
they're fizzy. Don't matter how much gain you're using on them. A2s are fizzy.
Yeah, so are Bear Dynamic headphones, and yeah, it might be operator there.
I don't know. Jimmy said his Bear Dynamic headphones were pretty fizzy too.
Too much high end.
What's up, Cindy?
So yeah, mod. I mean, if you're gonna get into it, I mean, it required massive tools to
Well, like,
to
I mean,
hack my way through all kinds of shit.
didn't you just get a press? Because you're like, you'll do frets,
Yeah, I
leveling,
just
all of that.
yeah, I just did. I mean, I got a what? It's a fret press from Solo Guitars in Canada.
Did you have to pay a tariff on that?
Nope.
Seems like that's a strict one-way fucking on our end.
Yep, pretty much.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, but we're back to the headphone thing.
Yeah. Depends is the answer.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Bear Dynamics. These guys hate them, Jimmy and Randy. So you're running.
I've tried one pair of Bear Dynamics and they were horrible. And if you heard what I heard through them, you'd be like, these are fucking terrible.
But like you said, they you got to try them, I guess, basically. And it depends what you're going for. Like if you're going for, there's two. I mean, if you want to really something to listen to music to, that's one thing. If you want something that's a studio headphone that's going to give you what is close to what's coming out of your amp in your cans, that's a whole different thing.
Mixing headphones? Do you need referencing headphones?
Yeah.
Do you need, flat response headphones? I mean, I would just, if you're looking for something in particular, I would, pick a company and ask them if they have a graph, an EQ graph to their, to a particular set of headphones. Because you could, you go looking on Reverb or eBay or wherever the hell, it's like they could, describe something all day long and you still don't know what how they're going to sound.
I came onto these through there's a bunch of forums out there with super audiophile geeks that actually they'll, in their threads they'll post the frequency response and all this other stuff. There you go.
I work at Burger King making flavor Whopper, yellow paper hats. You wear your Burger King crown on airplanes?
Those are getting a bad rap on airplanes for some reason.
Right. They've got like a compressor built onto them, static compressor built into them. So
what's funny is Rode made a pair of active headphones that you could adjust shit out with.
Right.
And apparently they quit making them for some reason.
Probably because they all broke.
Yeah, probably. I think I'm just going to take some heavy zip ties and put them around and just zip tie these damn things so that they don't bust.
That was the other thing I didn't like about them is the earpieces don't rotate on those like they do on these and the Audio Technicas. So. Jason says he does all his own guitar work and setups. He's the only one that can get what he likes right. Mm-hmm. That's generally the best way to do it until you meet the right dude that does it for cheaper or does it for a fair price. I won't say cheaper. Willie charges way less than what he should. But you find a guy my guy Willie worked, Jason, he worked at Charvel from 83 to like 89. And he does what I like and he charges me extremely fair prices and it's made me lazier. But it's like, I don't even have to do this shit. Here you go, man. But he also likes to barter for things too. So, like, hey, man, I'll trade you a Floyd 1000 for a leveling crown. And all right, cool, man. So,
I'm lucky I got Steve because, I'll grab a couple of coffees, go over there, and he'll do his magic on it.
Well, I don't like PAFs, so
I
love
got
me
no
some
one,
PAFs.
so I had to learn it all myself.
Well, you're naturally
Plus, it was
handy.
kind of my trade too. Was wood butcher, so
He cuts windows with a chainsaw.
I've done that. I used to do that building log cabins.
V16 777 59 PAFs. And I'm not a PAF guy.
I am.
Just don't do it for me.
So V16 is a company, I guess.
I imagine so. Well, I'm sure. I mean, honestly, it's really not hard to make a good sounding pickup. It really isn't. You can buy the machines.
Yeah.
There's a a load of knowledge out there. I mean, everything that's probably already been done. You could probably find it on forums and all that. So it's like
It's funny.
If you're a modder, the next step is winding your own.
Yeah. That's a commitment, though, Jimmy.
I don't need to. I got a guy that does it for me.
Yeah. Ted saying he has the dynamic DT 770. I've got the 770 Pros as well.
That's what I've got, the Pro X, the 770 Pro X.
Yeah, that's the one. And it never sounded loud enough to you?
No, they were quiet, and the high end, it was all like crackly, just fuzzy high end. And
yeah, there's something.
Remember I was telling you, I was reading on Reddit, one of those audiophile subreddits, where a lot of the guys were saying that the high impedance versions of them were like that.
That's right. Yeah. But I did notice that because I went up to the 1770s, and big difference in output for sure. What's Jason saying here? Rough case El Nico. 5.2 magnets. What the fuck is this?
He's the spec on those pickups. Butyl rate plastic bobbins, enamel coated 42 gauge wire, maplewood spacers, glow carbon fillers.
You got the whole list of parts. Now you can make them yourself.
Just need to know.
All you need is the winder.
And you need to know the DCR, and if the coils are mismatched, matched.
He's got the gauge there and everything, so yeah. What's Earl saying? I live in Lawrence, Kansas.
Kansas. Holy shit. How long have you lived in Lawrence, Kansas? Because I remodeled a shitload of houses in Lawrence, Kansas.
Maybe yours.
That's the thing, Earl, is once you find a guy or some people to do great work, somebody like Jimmy and Randy, to a certain extent, they get off on actually doing it. Like Jimmy enjoys ripping frets out of guitar and cleaning them up, and I have no fucking interest whatsoever.
I've got to be in the mood to sit down and swap pickups myself, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, meeting Willie 4 or 5 years ago just kind of really spoiled me on that, because it's just like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And he does shit the way I do it and want it done. So.
Yeah. And I've had Steve working on my stuff from the late 90s on, or early 2000s.
I mean, dude, that black SoCal, he charged me for a full setup, fret level and crown, the works, what Guitar Center charges to do a basic setup on a Floyd Rose guitar.
In Philadelphia, it's $50.
On and off for 50 years, Jimmy.
Yep, right on. I probably drove by your house.
What's your mother's name?
Yeah. How much did you spend on your house?
Yeah. You get the street address and your social insurance number, or what do you guys call it down there?
Right. Jason says V16 is the best material money can buy. He's a believer. Hey, dude, if they work for you, I mean, that's all that matters, right?
I'll have to look them up. Always interested.
Fisticuff says Lay's is the best in his area for setup and repairs, but I couldn't afford it and had to learn to do it on my own.
Yeah, it's like having a good butcher or a good vegetable guy. Once you find the right one and it all works, it's priceless. Unless you're like Jimmy, who just likes doing it.
Who else from Lawrence, Kansas? Oh, Josh Scott, JHS Pedals.
Yep.
Right? All boys.
Jeez, we've gone an hour and 42 minutes.
Yep. Jade Guitar says Tree Frogs in Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah, tree frogs.
Peter Stroker.
Nope.
How is your mass exodus going? Are you getting down to the nitty gritty now?
Nah.
He's bought more shit.
Yeah.
Oh, select pieces. It's not bulk buying like he's bulk
That
selling.
reminds me, I've got to ship this out tomorrow.
Which one's that?
Nope.
That's the
No,
the TC SCF Gold.
Right.
That lasted 6 hours on Reverb.
I still have the ones that try to lowball me. You send it for leaving less with no shipping. It's like, yeah, GF.
Oh, Sean.
Y.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Sean? Usually, I mean pickups. I mean I'm down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 pickups.
Jesus,
Out of my
keep going or you'll almost be at my I've got 2, 4, 6, 8 here.
Actually, Cindy, you didn't. We usually don't play on Tuesdays.
Thursdays and Sundays, Cindy.
We're just nerding out tonight.
Yep, this is our nerd talk on Tuesdays.
Usually when I sell guitars, it's usually at the beginning of the month. When apparently people have either paid their bills or said fuck the bills and
Got that check.
Up here,
First
I
and the
think it's
15th.
15th, yeah. Got me some money.
Yeah, I popped the old TC Electronics SCF Gold on Reverb last night, and it made it about 6 hours. My dumbass put offers on there, forgot to turn that off. So I woke up this morning to an offer of like $80, and I was like, no. I was already priced like $30 under the next, because those pedals are on back order.
Right. They also have a built-in flanger, don't they?
Yes, the chorus.
shut off.
Well, it is. It's a chorus, pulse width modulator, and a flangers, and the flanger never fucking turns off. But which is why I got getting rid of it. But I popped it on there, and I woke up to an offer of like $80. I was like, no. So
Post your link in here, Jason.
But
I don't have his link.
Any old Mighty Mites? I have no Mighty Mites. Kevin Brava, formerly known as Peter Stroker.
oh, he's in Alberta.
Who?
Jason
He's Canadian?
looks that way.
Canadian,
one province over
wanting
from
to be
me, man.
wanting to be the 51st.
In Alberta, yeah. Like, fuck you guys, we're out of here.
That should be a link to Jason's channel right there. But yeah, I had to get to work, and I immediately when I got to work, I declined his offer, and then went in there and edited the listing and turn offers off. And I got a notification about 3 o'clock that the pedal had sold, and it was the same dude that sent me the $80 offer. Now decided he wanted to pay $120 plus 15 shipping.
Yeah, you can turn offers off, but that don't stop people.
Yeah, they'll send you messages and shit. Hey, bro, can I pay you like $60 on here, then PayPal you friends and family the rest? No.
Yeah, I just had that happen this week. Which brings me to another thing which I was thinking about is, with that scenario is this particular individual was willing to put themselves in debt and finance gear.
Right.
Not because they needed it, just because they wanted it. And it's like, it is a luxury item. Unless you're a working musician, is you really probably shouldn't be financing gear.
Well, I used to do it when I had shitty credit. I would finance stuff and pay it off early for quick credit boosting capabilities.
Yeah.
Guitar
Well,
Mod Financial Advice by Jimmy Three-Ball Biter.
yeah. Yeah, if you're not a working musician, I don't recommend financing gear, especially if you don't have the money, because now you got how many places like Affirm and God knows who else that, oh yeah, you can just make payments on that. We'll take your money.
Well,
it's like,
what's funny is that's how I got my rock star status with American Musical Supply all those years ago. It's because that's what I would do. I would do like the real pay plans and pay on it for like 2 or 3 months and then just pay it off. And then they would increase my credit limit with them every time by like $500. So I've got like a $5,000 credit limit with American Musical Supply. That now anytime I order anything from them, I just buy the shit.
Oh boy, you're gonna be rich soon, there, Blue.
that's crazy because I had the same thing happen with a Nigerian prince.
Yeah.
Right.
Mine was from Vietnam, but yeah.
I'll shoot him a message. It's not like he's gonna know who the hell I am, even though we've been friends on the Facebook since like 2007. But
Jesus. Yeah, I subbed up, Jason. I gotta check you out. Fort Albert Foe. Jesus, you're a patch worker. Yeah, or in the patch zone. Yeah, everybody check out his channel. We got it posted here.
Ted Fair, what do you think of the DiMarzio, John Petrucci, Dreamcatcher, and Rainmaker pickup set? I like the Sonic Ecstasies.
Didn't you just get a set of his?
No. I had a guitar that had the Sonic Ecstasies in it.
Right.
And then the neck's not wide enough, so I sold it. Otherwise, it was a great guitar. I do have the liquefier in the neck of the white San Dimas. I think the only time I've played a Dreamcatcher Rainmaker was in the Majesty I played at Guitar Center and was not impressed with that guitar at all. Yeah, see, D-Side says I prefer the Crunch Lab liquefier of the Dream. I think most of the Petrucci people do. That most of the Petrucci tone guys prefer the Crunch Lab and liquefier combo over any of the other Petrucci pickups that have come out. The Illuminators seem to still be fairly popular, but
like you were saying before, you have to think they're made specifically for that particular guitar.
Right. So,
well, I got to piss, so I'm going to go. I don't know if you want to end this or keep going. I'm happy to do either.
Yeah, get up. I got a daughter swimming in the morning and all that crap. We jam with needles and get my blood sucked out by the vampires and all that stupid shit. So
that's good. You should
Phlebotomy.
have some positive results on one and negative on the other. Your cholesterol's through the roof. But your A1C
It's a good spreadable type, Doc. What are you talking about?
right, that's what they always do when they tell you you got diabetes and to eat a high protein, high fat, low carb diet. Then they go, well, we got your glucose in check, but your cholesterol's too fucking high. It's like,
that's why it's supposed to be balanced, so you have both diabetes and high cholesterol.
right. Well, according to your diabetes diet, you want me to eat a whole bunch of shit that turns into sugar.
Instantly. Oh, but not if it's whole grain bread. Anyways.
Yeah. But
we've got financial advice tonight. We've got headphone advice. Now we're having dietary advice from two fattest guys here.
Right. But anyway, everybody, thanks for hanging out in this circus for the last almost 2 hours. Hope you enjoyed it. Guys. We had a great time. Good seeing everybody. And
Thursday.
See y'all Thursday for Trans Trim Thursday and some jamming.
Trim Thursday.
Oh, and I was gonna make mention. I know I haven't seen him in here tonight. Sound the Sirens, Pete. His new album drops Friday, I believe. So if you like some good rock instrumental guitar stuff, check out Sound the Sirens. So cool. Everybody have a great night.
And on closing, eat a balanced diet: 6-pack in one hand and a bucket of KFC in the other.
That's right. So, thanks everybody. See y'all Thursday.
Ciao, ciao.